Welcome everybody, this is Christian from Sterling Knight Gamers, and today I'm going to talk about Star Wars Rebellion, the new expansion, Rise of the Empire. I'm really enjoying this expansion, and today I'm going to go over the new Rebel units and tactics. So there's the new U-Wing, Nebulon B, Rebel Vanguard, and Golan Arms turret. So just like the Imperial side, 3 new units and 1 new structure. So what's different about these units, they used a new green die. So the green die has some advantages and a lot of disadvantages. It only has 2 hits and the rest are blanks, but it's the critical hits. While regular die only has 1 critical hit, 1 block, and then 2 regular hits and then 2 blanks. So it's not as good as a regular die in either the rolling for missions or for attacks. However, you can have three of these, and you max out with the red ones at 5 and the black ones at 5. So by adding 3 more to either a battle or a roll, you have a greater chance of outrolling your opponent. Plus, by having the 2 critical hits, a Rebel Vanguard would have a better chance at taking down an ATST or an AT-AT than a regular trooper would. But this would not be as effective as either blocking shots or attacking other ground troops. So just keep that in mind as you're building them. However, there's a strong advantage for you having a diverse army and navy while you attack is by using more of these tactics cards than your opponent normally would be able to. So, for example, the shield generator, you can have this absorb some of the damage. The U-Wing, if you retreat at least 1 unit during this combat round, you may rescue 1 captured leader. So that way you can do a battle and you'll be able to free a captured unit, all by having the U-Wing. Take cover, prevent 2 red hits and 2 black hits. That's really useful. Escape plan. You may do an immediate retreat. If you do, cancel the Imperial Tactic card, take it down, deal 2 damage, and then hold them back, destroy 1 ground unit. Its dice would not be rolled this round. So all these are pretty useful, as well as, of course, tow cables. Deal 4 damage to 1 AT-AT or 1 ATST. That's very useful. And probably the best card of them all, if you know you're going to win, Confrontation. If the last Imperial ground unit is destroyed during this combat round, place a damage token under that Imperial leader in the system and remove the card from the game. At the end of this command phase, that leader is eliminated. So that is an amazing ability that if you think you're going to be able to win, you'll be able to go ahead and take that leader out just by playing a tactics card rather than having to do a particular mission. So make sure you go ahead and include these different ground units in your Rebel base place, as well as some of your more fortified planets and attack groups. That way you'll be able to use the different cards for more powerful ability. Now there's also space tactic cards, and those are also very useful, and you want to go ahead and make sure your navy is just as diverse as your ground units as well, so that you can utilize these cards. The Mon Calamari one is particularly useful. Prevent 2 red hits. You can play an additional card. So that's a great way of being able to double up on 2 things. Bombing Run, deal 2 red damage. Outrun them, cancel the Imperial card. Ion Blast, if you have the Ion Cannon. Deal 1 damage to 1 capital ship. Damage cannot be removed from that ship during this combat round. Rogue Squadron Support, deal 2 black damage, draw their fire. You can remove 2 damage from ships, except for the Nebulon B itself. Deployment, this is a good one. Gain 1 ground unit in this system. If there is an Imperial ground unit in this system, resolve the ground combat this round. So you can go ahead and land an additional troop to help your ground troops win the day, or if it's a planet that has a fleet above it and very few ground troops below it, maybe you have a chance of going ahead and taking out this system. Make sure that your fleets are also diverse by having the Nebulon Bs. Not only can you roll some of these green die, but you'll also be able to play the more powerful version of these cards. Something that you should keep in mind is that there's the new Sabotage card that allows you to also remove and destroy one of the shield generators. This is a very useful card if your opponent has the Death Star or Death Star under construction protected by it. You got to make sure that you can take it out. There's also a lot of new objective cards that have been added to the game that give you a lot more diversity in the ways that you're going to be able to win. Particularly those that just allow you to discard one or two cards and then get a point that way. But there's a lot more than there were before, and the fact that you shuffle them and then just draw a few allows each game to be much more diverse than it was before, where everyone kind of knew which objectives that they would eventually be going for, because there wasn't nearly as many. So I really enjoyed this new mechanic of having the additional cards. For overall strategy, I still like putting the Rebel base on a remote system that is far out of the way, hopefully at least 2 systems away from the nearest starting Imperial unit. I also do like adding it to Ryloth, or maybe even a planet they don't even expect. I recently won a game by actually putting it on Malastare. It's just one ground unit, and it really wasn't that valuable of a system. I was able to divert them away. Kessel is also not that bad a location, but it really depends on where the Imperials draw their cards and where they put the Death Star and where they put some of their units. Because you definitely don't want to put your Rebel base anywhere near the Death Star, because if you have a really powerful ground base and defenses, you may actually be able to hold them off until the game is over in a conventional battle. However, if they have the Death Star, they'll just be able to either blow up the planet or do a single reactor reaction and blow up the Rebel base and win the game. Keep that in mind when you're choosing the Rebel base, and don't be afraid to move it if you think they figured out where they are. Unless you think you'll be able to hold on to it long enough before the Death Star gets there, or for them to build a large enough force for you to take it. A good strategy that I also like is in the beginning of the game, you can put your units in the Rebel base space and one other planet, but only one other planet. I like to put them on a different planet than one of the ones that I started out on, particularly a planet that is powerful and with units, either Mon Calamari or Utapau, that both allow you to build capital ships. By putting at least one unit there, it allows you to do the more powerful version of Build Alliance. It allows you to roll one additional die. This way you can have Princess Leia or someone not as powerful play this mission and still have a good chance of defeating even the Emperor in a roll-off. Or, if you want to be certain, you can send Mon Mothma there and she'll roll 4 die instead of 3. And that'll dissuade most Imperials from even trying to attempt to block it. I hope this has been useful. Try to play the mission cards in the most effective way that you can. Try to synergize with your leaders. Try to choose the leaders that are the ones that give you the additional power on the card. And good luck, and may the Force be with you.